Welcome, welcome, welcome for this show. Guys, we have a big one for you. New Cow Corner podcast, Anthony, Mark, and none other than Crystal, Gecko, Diva.
Hey,
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for coming.
glad to be here. It's gonna be a good chat,
It is seeing you on the
Nice.
other side of the screen. This is going to be fun.
right?
We got her in the hot seat this time, guys. She's
I
in the
know.
hot seat this time.
I get to answer questions instead of asking them.
Good, it's awesome. You should. You deserve it. You know, everybody deserves. It's awesome to hear other people's opinions and talk to other people, but once in a blue moon, it's nice to hear about you, right? Like we get to watch you, listen to you, talk to everybody. I mean, in conversation, sure, but it'd be nice to hear what you got going on. You know, your views and opinions and, projects and passions and observations and all that good stuff, Be nice to hear from you, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that wants to hear it,
It's weird not having a cup of coffee, though, because we're doing this later, so I'm here
Well,
with my
you're the only
little
one.
water bottle.
You're the only one.
You're the
We're
only
all
one.
over here.
I know, I should have had one anyways, but then I'd be up all night.
Story of my life. I keep geckos.
First and foremost, I just need, what's coming, Crystal. I have to make sure that everybody knows, go to YouTube, follow Gecko Diva. If you haven't followed Gecko Diva, she has the amazing podcast Sunday morning. And you guys put in the comments, tell me that her song is not the best or one of the best in the podcast community. Sheesh. I watched that podcast and I just start jamming.
I love it. It's like a real Evanescence vibe, It's a badass song.
So
you want to tell us how that came about, Crystal?
Yeah, so once upon a time, I was in a rock band. So I actually played bass and did back vocals. So that was the girl-fronted band that I had with my best friend, and we were called Torn Beloved. And she wrote, I helped co-write some of the songs, wrote all the bass lines in it, did the back vocals and all the songs. And we invested quite a lot of time and money in recording a CD. So we do have a CD. I unfortunately had to step away from the band for family and other reasons, and then was replaced by another bassist. So there is music videos out there. There's another bassist that replaced me in the music videos, but I do make a cameo in one of them. So I am
Where
there.
are they, YouTube?
And
Where can people find this?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. So if you look up Torn Beloved, you'll be able to find it.
Torn Beloved.
Torn Beloved, yeah. So the song Dance For Me is actually the song we use for my husband's podcast. And I have just a sound for mine. So, you don't have to worry about copyright infringement and stuff when you're using your own music. I know it used to be on iTunes. Last I heard it was removed, so we don't have it. Like, they took it down. But my friend does have a big box full of CDs. So the next time I come out to the States and I'm coming to like a US expo, I think I'm going to bring a whole bunch of CDs. I might actually bring some to CRBE too for some of the friends that are going to come up, so that I have some, because people have asked me about it. They've been trying to find the song online.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I have it on iTunes because I downloaded it when it was on iTunes, but I know it's not there anymore. So now I've been trying to bug them to get it put back on iTunes. It's one of those things now that it's coming up and people are listening to it. Maybe we'll get more, more hits again, and people are starting to listen to the song. You never know.
It's like one of those things just plays in your head. I love it.
Yeah, I think that's a hit. I thought it was somebody super like
I said, when I first heard it, until you said one time on the podcast that it was you, I thought it was like an Evanescence song. Like, it reminded me of like a popular band. Like,
that's when I say, wait till you hear the CD then, because I think there's like 7 songs on that CD.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Very cool. So how did you go from rock star to gecko keeper?
Oh goodness, I'm like a jack of all trades. I've done so much. I actually grew up riding horses.
No shit.
So I live on a farm and we have horses, and I used to do like the hunter jumpers and was really into that. Still have the horses. And then when we moved here to the farm, I was into reptiles later. For us, it was mainly like we got pigs. So I had kuni pigs, and I still have them. And that was our main thing. Our fun side project was breeding kuni pigs since we
What kind of
moved
pigs
here.
are those now? I'm like, I'm not
So
sure that I know what they are exactly.
yeah, so kuni pigs are they're from New Zealand. So they're and the Maori people had them there. So they were one of the they're fluffy. Kuni means fat and round. If you Google it, they're the cutest things. They're like little gremlins. And they are considered a mini pig. So they,
So they
for the
are.
most part, should stay under 300 pounds. I mean, anything
That's mini?
under, yes. So anything under 300 pounds is considered a mini pig. When
Christ.
you look at an actual like real size pig, like they get huge, but like 300 pounds is still quite big. Like that's a heavy pig. We had one in
Sure
the
is.
house for a while, Honey, until she was struggling to go up and down the stairs. They actually make really good house pets. Like she was house trained. She was really well behaved.
Interesting.
So yeah, so we were breeding those, and we had like piglets every year, which was a lot of fun. And just kind of scaled back. The reptiles came a little bit later, and it all started with my daughter wanting a snake. That's how it started. It was
Interesting.
yeah, so she had been bugging us for a snake for a couple years, and we were like, no, we're not going to get a snake. And then finally we decided to surprise her, and we got her a ball python, and she was just over the moon. And then my husband and I realized, well, this is kind of cool. So our whole adventure kind of started with ball pythons, and we started really getting into ball python projects. That was the start here with the VIP morphs.
Very cool. You kind of stole your daughter's shine. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, she got them, and I'm like, well, I want one. Like she had it, and I was holding it, and then but she's a little girl, right? So she's like, Mom, you're holding the snake too long. Give it back. So I'm like, okay, well, now I think I should get my own. And then you're on Google and you're looking, you're like, where do I buy a snake? Like not from a pet store. And then like, wow, boom, world open, right? You find Morph Market, and then that there's expos. Like we don't have many in Canada, but there, I found the ones that were coming up in Toronto, and I ended up getting a pied ball python actually from out west in through Morph Market. And
So
then we
Morph
just
Market
went
is fully
down that
functional
rabbit
in
hole.
Canada then.
What's that? Sorry?
So Morph Market is fully functional in Canada.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
didn't know for
Yeah.
sure that if you guys, I didn't obviously know how that works up there. All right.
Yeah, it's not I wouldn't say it's as popular. It's just now finally starting to really get a lot more gecko breeders on there. I'm sure if you'd look it up, like here, I can take a look. There, like compare when you're looking at how many animals are available on Morph Market. I think we're under 200 in Canada.
Really? So what's your guys' main? I always hear Adam Wickens talk about Kijiji. Is that like a? Is that a?
129 geckos in Canada on Morph Market.
Really? So yeah, we
Yeah.
couldn't. I don't think I could see that. We would only see what's available in the U.S. You
No,
have.
no,
You
you could set it. You could
Oh, you
set it.
can?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can change it. There's an option for US, an option for Canada, and there's an option for North America, so you can have both of them.
Yeah, I'm not very tech savvy. Well, that's cool. I mean, I suppose it gives you a bigger market, right? Are you selling animals? Do you have animals that are? I mean, are you full swing? How long have you been doing this for? Let me start
Yeah,
there.
so the transition, so we started with ball pythons, and VIP Morse was really something that my husband and I had started together. There's like a glass window behind me. That's the other reptile room, because we have his and her reptile rooms. So
Awesome.
this was originally a living room and like a video game room. And that we had only the other side that was reptiles, and it was pretty much dedicated to ball pythons, and we had gotten a couple boas. You mentioned earlier Kijiji. So we have an online classified thing similar to Craigslist. I think it's a little bit probably better than Craigslist. And it's called Kijiji. And so every once in a while you'll hop on there, and there's a reptile category, and you can kind of see what's local to you. And that's where I found my first crested gecko, actually was on Kijiji. I went and picked up the crested gecko, was just in the city, and set it up in the other room. And then I realized I really, really liked crested geckos. I kind of like them a little bit more than the snakes. So, one became two, became six, and then the hubby was like, "Whoa, time." He's like, "There's starting to get a couple too many geckos in my snake room here." He's like, "It's starting to take over the space because they take more space. Like you're not necessarily having like the racking system and stuff like you have for the ball pythons, right? So I'm having like these larger enclosures for them and stuff." So he ends up putting the door on this side of the room and closing this, and he's like, "There, go. Now you have your own room." And I'm like, "That's mistake number two. So now you gave me a room that I can fill with geckos."
That's awesome.
So I've been doing this. The snakes we started right at the beginning of COVID. So I'm a COVID baby.
I
The
think it's a
geckos
good
was
hobby, you know?
yeah, the geckos was shortly thereafter. I think maybe within a year after, really a year or two is when I got my first like pet gecko. But I'm going into my fourth real season of focused breeding projects right now.
It feels so crazy. It's been so that long since the pandemic. Wow.
Right?
Life.
It's you sit there and you're like, it's already been 6 years. Like, wow.
Jeez, right? Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do obviously have enough animals to sell. Are you selling? How do you go about moving animals in Canada?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody depending on how they run their business. For myself, I mean, you know how cresties are. Like they change so much as they grow. And for the first while, like a lot of mine, I wanted to hold them back because I wanted to see, which ones I wanted to keep to be able to kind of put back into some of the projects and build on those projects. So I've been a little bit of a hoarder in some of my hatchlings that I have. I mean, I have sold for the last 3 years. The majority of all of my sales I do are at expos, to be honest. I do know that some people sell on Morph Market. It's not as busy of a spot for people in Canada to go find geckos. I find like I've had animals posted there, and the number of hits that you're getting is not huge. I do plan on posting on Morph Market because I do know that there's people in the US that are really interested in some of the projects that I'm working with. So it gives at least another avenue for them to be able to see. I have my website, which I'm really terrible at updating with animals. So I've just put a few on there recently, but for the most part, it's been at expos. But I like talking to people and being able to talk about the projects.
Sure.
And I wouldn't say I have had like a large amount of production to really start doing like big sales and stuff. So it's been mainly, I have enough to bring to when I want to bring to a show and kind of show off what I'm working
Nice.
with. This season's actually been probably the largest season I've had. This past season, I've hatched out I think about 88 geckos.
Nice. Before
Yeah.
we get too far, though, can you share that website with us?
Yeah, it's geckodiva.com.
There you go, guys. Geckodiva.com. Go check out what she's doing up in Canada. You import to the US, right? If someone was interested, you'd be able to get animals to
Yeah.
people here.
So on the subject of that, I actually was speaking to another breeder in the States, and I think I'm going to be looking at doing like one big export to the States this year. So there's going to be some talk about that. I am waiting for some of the animals that I have to grow up a little bit more, just so I have a little bit more options and variety. And there are some animals I know that certain people are working in projects as well. So I want to be able to, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to want to do it well, right? And not just kind of send off one or two geckos. Like it's going to be more of a, let's try to see who I can get my geckos to over there, right? So if you're going to do it, we'll do it once. And then maybe once a year, kind of do an export like that.
What's one of your major projects that you really honing in on?
One project?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like out of all your
I
projects, what's the most important one for you?
Man, that's a loaded question because I got 3 core projects. I mean, the one I think I'm most excited about is my Hulk project, like my green geckos. And that one is going to be, I think, a little bit more exciting this year. That was the first thing that really drew me in when I was getting into geckos. I saw this one green gecko on Instagram that was at a Canadian breeder. And I'm like, I want to make that. And more animals that look like that. And it's a funny story, that project, because that gecko's name is Lipton. And it was a breeder that's no longer a breeder now in Canada, was Aristomorphs that had Lipton. And she had posted a bunch of these really vibrant green pictures of this gecko. And I was like, oh, I want to get my hands on this gecko. It's like such the coolest gecko I've seen. And then all of a sudden, like, she had a wait list for hatchlings that I was on, and then decided to close up shop. So I ended up getting a hatchling because the breeders were sold, and the hatchling from Lipton I was super disappointed because I got the hatchling and it was brown. And I was like, oh, I was kind of hoping this is going to be green. And I was like, well, I'll grow it up and see what happens. And then maybe about a year later, another breeder that had gotten Lipton posted up for sale, but it didn't look green in the picture. And I was like, I recognize that gecko. That looks really familiar. And I go in my old photos in my phone to compare. I'm like, it's Lipton. I know it is, because he had renamed it to Matcha. So I'm like, I know that's Lipton. So I reached out to him. I said, are you selling him? Yes. He's mine. I'll take him. So now I have Lipton here, which is that very first green gecko that I saw. So he's the first gecko that really started that drive for that project for me. And I've done 2 seasons now. The first one was very slow. I only got 3 hatchlings. This season, I actually paired him with a monochrome phantom female, and the green hatchlings that have popped out of last season no, he wasn't paired. It was the olive that's paired to her. Those, I have the olive as well. Sorry, I'm getting them confused. He's paired to a European import, and those hatchlings are very green and pink, kind of tangerine pattern on it, which is kind of neat.
Interesting. Are they we'll post pictures, guys, in the in links and on the bottom of this to some of these animals. I don't want to. We'll eventually pull up Instagram and show some of these off after we get into this conversation a little more, because now I'm interested myself. I've got animals that are green too, and I never really thought much of it. But when I hear you talk about it, and I've heard you talk about it in the past, it always intrigues me a little more.
Yeah, and it's trying to figure out how it works. And I'm always really curious on the genetic side. That, for me, especially coming from ball pythons and really nerding out in the genetics, when I got into working with geckos, that was something I found really interesting. So if you do go on the Instagram page, I have the 2 main green geckos in my projects pinned at the top. So Lipton is pinned. Ghost Pepper isn't pinned, but he's an olive phantom as well. That's the one I paired with a monochrome that's been producing some really wild green phantoms. And then the other one that I just imported from Korea is Hulk. So he's from Dawn over at Reptile City. And so most of you are probably familiar of Mr. Grinch over at Little Monsters. So the green gecko that they have, so that's that line. So it's very, very vibrant green. So Hulk's going to be paired this season within the green project. So exciting times to see what happens. And that hatchling I did get that was brown ended up going green after she hit 20 grams.
I was going to ask you that. So are you seeing them from so you have 3 separate pairings? Are you seeing them hatch green, or they're hatching brown turning green?
So Lipton's hatchlings, it depends. Some of them will have a mid-fire where you can kind of see the green hue. Other ones are more brown, but as they get older, you start seeing the green really kind of pop. The other pairing with the olive, some of them that are like under 5 grams, and they're like vibrant green, like clover green. It's wild. When they fire down, they kind of go a little bit more of a grayish color, and then when they fire up, they go really, really dark. So it's interesting. Now Hulk, um, Anthony over at Little Monsters actually, so they got them because he was from Korea, right? So he got the import first. And what he noticed when he saw them, when he compared to the greens that he has, is Hulk is actually a yellow base, whereas some of the greens that he has a red base, and I think he has a dark base. So it's really interesting to see that you actually have a base color that kind of comes through under the green, which is very interesting to see how that's going to pan out. But I haven't bred Hulk yet. This is going to be the first season to see what he produces.
Is Hulk a cap or no?
Nope.
Because I know they were talking about it came from like.
Yeah.
Is this him?
So that's Hulk. Yeah. Yeah. So I know when they were speaking to Dawn about it, I think I believe there was mention that it came out of a cap pairing.
Yeah.
But that they weren't caps. Yeah, so that would probably be the most exciting project just because it's so unique with the greens. Like my goal this year with Hulk is to create some green lilies, right? So that these would be from the olive and the monochrome pairing.
So is olive, are you classifying, is olive different than green, or is how are you
so
classifying
all
this?
all three males. Yeah, all three males that I have are different kind of shades of green. So I'm just trying to figure out how the green is working. And the goal with the project is to be able to produce a gecko that's green, right? Whether it fires up or fires down. So like if I'm looking at my olive male, he'll fire down more of a kind of a grayish kind of brown color. He fires up almost black. And then between he's a dark green, right? Whereas Lipton, when he fires down, he's gray, and when he fires up is black, but he's more of a vibrant green in between.
So from working with what do you think is going on from working with the morpher genes since it's been happening? What do you think? Tell me. What do you think?
So I had theories. I had theories with Lipton that it was tangerine at play. So that highlighter. So when you're seeing on a lily white, you're getting that yellow kind of highlighter look. I know that there's, some people are saying highlighter is its own thing. Other people are saying tangerine. He's a pinstripe quad, and he has the highlighter on him, and you can see it in some of the photos, but he also has that glow almost everywhere. And a lot of the hatchlings that I'm getting with, so that's ghost pepper. So that's the olive.
Because I see green in him too, but I guess green.
Yeah, so he's just he's a darker green. He's not as vibrant, right? But he also has a red. And this is the other question. Like I say, het red. He had a red parent. He has the rosy under the neck, and he has produced some red hatchlings. So,
well, not to interrupt, I know nothing about these, Crystal. Yeah. Right? And I told you I have green animals. My animal, and I'm telling, I don't know, and I don't know very little about this, but my animals were reds. I took reds and I paired them to tangerines. They were babies. They were red with white walls on them. And now at 2 years old, there is no mistake about them. They are green. So it is absolutely red and tangerine. Remember the other day, Mark, I had Gecko on and you were like, dude, that thing looks green.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the ones I'm talking about. And that was a red tangerine pairing.
Yeah, there is a lot of reds that's popping out of it. Definitely all the hatchlings that I have from Lipton have tangerine in them.
See?
They all, when they hatch out, some of them are bright pink markings, some of them bright orange markings. I paired them with the lavender lily that had a bit of, that has tangerine, more of that peachy tangerine on her. And those hatchlings, when they came out, their base looked so light green, like a lavender light green. And then the lily pattern on it was bright orange. So definitely there's a tangerine at play with him anyways. I'm not sure in what case that'll have an impact on my Hulk from Korea, because I don't really see Tangerine in him. And that's really kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Hold on. I got a little confused real quick. So you have Lipton.
Mm-hmm.
That's paired with
So Lipton
a Tangerine.
Lipton has been paired. So Lipton's not this one. This is Hulk. So this is Lipton.
That's Lipton. Oh, okay.
This is
Lipton is the all green one.
Yeah. So he's green, and he's the one that's been producing green with Tangerine. So he was paired. His first pairing was with a lavender that's kind of like a turquoise-ish, greenish lavender with a soft scale with some Tangerine, and they've popped out some really vibrant, like green and tangerine looking animals. This season he was paired with the lavender lily, which also produced some tangerine green animals, and he was also paired with a harlequin that I got from Europe that also has a tangerine line in it, and again bright orange and pinks.
So are you seeing the tangerine when they get older, or is it disappearing?
So that's that. I don't have any that are old enough from those pairings to see. Like, they're still growing out. The ones in the lilies kind of toned down a bit.
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked. Is that tangerine that you're seeing at birth turning into highlighter as they get older?
The ones I have are not big enough to really determine whether or not it's going to fade. I can tell you the female that I've grown up has similar look to him.
Oh, the Lipton?
Yeah. So the female has similar look to him.
And then when it hatched, because he has like brown highlighter in him.
When he hatched, it was brown. And I have three other soft scales right now where their pattern is not, it's not tangerine. But the thing is that's weird with these animals is they have, if you scroll down, I'll see if I can find the three I'm talking about. There's one that ended up being Phantom, and it almost looked like it had that like highlighter glow on its whole body, to be honest. Like, it was very weird how it popped out. Yeah. So it's not just on the pattern.
It's bleeding through or something.
Yeah, it's not just on the pattern, like it's on the base as well, is what I'm finding.
And then where I was getting confused is that one right there, that picture. You also paired a green to a monochrome.
This one?
Not this one. So yeah, so go up.
This one.
Yeah, boom. So those two, that's the olive that you saw earlier. The darker one, not Hulk. Yes, and to a monochrome female. And consistently hatching animals that look like that.
Green. From that looks small. Huh?
From hatch. Like they hatched out, almost looked black when they hatched out. And the next day after they shed and they kind of fire down, they're green.
Did it get any bigger? Can you guys see? I don't know how to make the thing bigger. Did it get any bigger right now? No?
Yeah, it's a
bit bigger.
It's visible.
In different tones.
2025. Okay.
Yeah, so these are just like late season. Yeah, they're still little. I'm excited for them to grow up so I can take some more updated pictures and kind of keep track with them.
Sure.
See how they'll progress. I know that there is some other siblings that look more brown, but I went back and looked at hatchling pictures of Ghost Pepper, so the dad, and he was very brown when he was younger as well, and then ended up being olive. So there's a chance that those will turn olive as well. But these ones there that you were seeing were so vibrant green, like right from hatch. Go up. That's what they look like when they hatch. Keep going up a little bit more. Nope. Keep going. Night Howler on the right. That's what they look like when they hatch.
I could kind of see it, but I don't know if it's me wanting to see it or I'm like...
They don't look green when they hatch. They're dark.
But over here, I can almost see the yellow of the tangerine that I think is overlapping a base that's making this green, but yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's working the same way with this. I think that you get green different ways. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because this one here, from what I've seen so far, like there hasn't been any, mind you, they've all been phantom animals, but I haven't seen any reason for tangerine in them, to be honest.
Okay.
Whereas the Lipton ones definitely do have it. So it's trying to figure out the different ways of getting it and what is the way to keep it most consistent.
Were their bellies a different color? Do their undersides, or are they all this dark all the way around?
Like, they're dark all the way around, speckled for the monochrome. You get like little black speckles.
Now, what exactly monochrome?
You're gonna ask me, and I have no answers for you.
Right. I'm literally been doing this for 8 years now, and I'm confused. I don't know.
Yeah, so I've spoken to a few people. Gecko Jen has looked at the animals that I have, ID'd them, because they come from his line, right? He's the founder. Yeah. My understanding is there's still going to be something coming out with a good explanation. I do know there's a few other people have been working and speaking to him on the project that I have been kind of talking. So like, I don't really want to talk about that gene just because I know that there's stuff that's going to come out about it and stuff. So I don't want to do a disservice for it. You know what I mean? What I'm finding, I'm like, there's some things that I can kind of see that has been mentioned to me, but still I feel like the two that I bought initially not even knowing that they were monochrome, and I got them when they were smaller, and as they grew I was like, something's off with these. And then when I kind of inquired a little bit more and found out the lineage, I realized that they had a parent that was monochrome. So that's when I kind of went down that rabbit hole of like trying, doing the research and trying to find out to ID them, and got the confirmation that they were. So I think that it's something that's a little bit easier for me anyways, for my eye, to kind of see it as they get older. Like, I'm struggling with them little on what to kind of pick up on. And yeah, that's Ghost Pepper.
He's not a monochrome?
No, he's olive.
See, like in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Like, monochrome is obviously like one color, right? Like, when that's what I always, again, I thought monochrome was Edgar's line of phantoms per se, I guess. Yeah. So I just always assumed monochrome was just like a phantom like this, like
yeah, no. So I have two monochromes. I have a phantom monochrome, and I have a soft scale tangerine flame monochrome.
Oh, so okay. I thought mono.
It changes.
Okay.
It changes the look. There's some specific things you can look at the belly. The look of the color is a bit different. I know the pattern, like my flame, her dorsal is very chewed up, and there's some of those things that are kind of tells for it. When you see her, like, there, you can tell there's something different. And that's kind of why I went and had the discussion with him to try to figure out and to confirm that it was, because I'm not one of those people who's going to say, this is what I have without knowing for sure that's what I'm working with.
Sure.
But yeah, it's new to me, right? It's still a new project that I'm working with, and all awesome those animals for me.
This animal's awesome, right?
Thank you. and that animal there, both its parents were Dalmatian. It was a red Dalmatian to one that was almost a white base Dalmatian.
Interesting.
So I did not expect it to grow up to be an olive with, it has maybe 1 or 2 spots on it.
Yeah, we don't care about spots over here.
I don't care either.
They're like,
so this has been kind of like a pet project of mine. Like, I've had people message me and say, do you have any greens? I don't have anything to release because I'm holding everything back because I'm still trying to figure out how it works.
That's interesting. That's super exciting. This
is awesome. Spoon Man. That's an axanthic.
I was going to say, there's no way this isn't an axanthic. So cool.
Yeah. So I mean, the green is a big project. Empty back is another huge project, like empty back lilies, trying to do the super empty back lilies. That's one that I've been working on since the beginning.
What does that look like? What does a super
have you
empty
seen
back?
Anthony's? Have you seen Anthony's?
Well, I like, what's this? What do you
Because
consider this?
That's just that's a lily white exanthic.
So this back dorsal pattern, though, this isn't an empty back. This isn't.
I'd have to double check. I believe that the breeder had said it was empty back, but for me, I want to double check the parents, because the issue that I find with exanthics and cappuccinos is you can get animals that look empty back, but actually not be empty back. Just because of how the morph kind of moves the pattern and the color, right? So that was one thing, because I wanted to get a cappuccino that was empty back for the empty back project, that like I went and dug back to see the parents to make sure that it actually had empty back in there, that it would be carrying it. But yeah, empty back lily has been a huge, I was hoping to hit a super empty back lily this year. I did hatch out one that could potentially be it, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do have another pairing plan for this season. That's going to be a super empty back to an empty back lily that I should be able to know and confirm it.
That one right there. Right?
That's what I'm saying. This animal here, this would be a super empty back. What is empty back? It's empty back. So I think I make them. I think I make them and don't, like, by accident. I just haphazardly make them. And
yeah, so that one's a soft scale. So this is one of the main ones. So she's a phantom empty back. And she's the one that's been producing all my lily white empty backs. And they hatch out, they had a full, like, missing patterned stripe right down the back when they hatched.
You had a lily in this, right? When I clicked on this, there was a lily in your hand, wasn't there?
Yeah, I think she comes in later. There's a picture of her further up in my Instagram, but that's a lily that I brought in from Europe that was paired this season. With an empty back.
That's an empty back, though, right? Is that classified as an empty back?
It would be, yeah. So it would have one copy of it. And that was the one I was using this season to try to make supers. I'm not
with that girl that we just saw.
Not sure where it is.
Have you noticed, just out of curiosity, on the empty backs, a lot of them will have these double dashes on the tail, the equal sign?
Yeah, so this one here, this red empty back was out of that phantom female that you saw earlier. The yellow phantom female. That's one of her hatchlings.
With the lily white?
Not with the lily. Oh, yes, with the lily. Yes, the male was the lily, but the one you were talking about, the red one, that's a female. That's a different one.
Yeah, that's where. Just stop me when I come to that one. I want to look at that. Right?
That's a good question. Yeah. I'm not sure where it is. Is it going to be here?
You have some really nice animals. I have to.
Thank you. This is another little weirdo that I brought in that I'm growing up.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Very, very tang. Which I think is kind of neat.
That's not exactly.
I don't know if I posted her recently.
Shit. Again, like I said,
you had it.
Scroll down. That one in the middle, right beside my face.
This one?
That's a hatchling from that red lily that you were looking for from this season. So that one there is the one that's an empty back. The picture before it is the only one that I hatched out that I think could potentially be super, but I'm not sure, because the pattern got so removed. Like, the sides got pushed down very, very low, and the pattern is just really chopped up, but I'm not sure because it's not as clean in the middle. So that's why it's the only one that hatched out that looked like that. And when it hatched out, it was even more obvious than this shade here. So that's one that I'm holding back to see, but I'm going to have to compare it to this season to see how they hatch out, because
I make lilies and there's no cap in them, no exanthic. I make lilies where the base color is literally fills the center of their back. They have nothing but
Yes.
white pins down the sides.
Yeah, so my regular empty back lilies, you'll have like a base color stripe, racing stripe right down the middle. The one that's tough with this is there's tangerine in it, so all the pattern has that kind of orangey color, so it's really hard to kind of spot. That's the cappuccino empty back that I brought in from Korea.
Another pretty one.
So he's going to go to the hold back empty back lilies that I've grown up.
Interesting.
That's
Very
the
cool.
same one right there. The very pale one that your mouse is on, the one we were just looking at, that's the same gecko.
That's tangerine, right? That pink. Well, mine did.
Yeah.
They turned it as pink.
That's the same one there with the kind of that I'm thinking may have the super, but again, it's hard to tell just because of how her lily pattern is expressing on them compared to the other lines that I was working with. And I don't like to say something for sure until I know.
Sure.
So,
absolutely.
I definitely want to test out a couple other pairings this season so I have something to compare with.
This one's kind of cool. How interesting.
So that's a Lipton baby.
And what is your stance on the highlighter-ish or whatever this tangerine-ish color is over the lily pattern? What do you think is do you think that is just tangerine influence, or what do you say this is?
To me, it's tangerine. How it expresses on the lily is going to really depend. The animals I brought from Europe are tangerines where the white is orange.
Really?
Like there's no white. I mean, there's some that breeder has that are more saturated, that it's like it is bright orange. And I'm hoping to kind of work that into some projects here. So this one here would be the result of Lipton, so that green tangerine animal, and the lavender lily pairing.
And are you hoping this will go green?
The base.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of has a reddish hue, but again, that's that kind of brown red that a lot of his hatchlings are getting. But they not misfire, but like mid-fire, greenish. So the color really changes, and as it gets bigger, it tends to go more green.
Very cool. See, these things people got to pay attention to, like.
So that orange stays orange as they get bigger, or is it turning yellow?
This one here specifically is been fading because it's not the other tang line that I'm working with that tends to stay. And I have to grow these out to see how it is. The mom's tangerine on the mom that's the lily is more highlighter. So hers is more of she had a peachy dorsal, but then everything else is very highlighter.
It's exciting. Nonetheless, even without any definite answers, I think it's exciting.
This is what I think is fun.
It's very interesting.
Right? Is this stuff.
It is.
So that one gecko there on the left that you're hovering right there.
This one.
Left. No, other one. That one. So that guy is one that I brought in from Europe. So that's one of the new tangerine lines that I'm working into some projects.
That's a juvenile?
That's an adult lily.
He's cool. He got a cool scalation.
Yeah, he's almost breeding weight, not quite. That line, I find that the animals are a little bit more compact. They're a little bit smaller.
So it's got that like orange face, but it's got the highlighter yellow on the laterals.
It's orange. It's orange. And I can send you pictures. Yeah. If I compare a highlighter beside him, it's completely different color. And the texture of the scales.
Very cool.
In person, you see that orange, right?
Oh, it's very, very vibrant.
Better than in the camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
it's
the orange
different
changes.
Here to me, my highlighter, the highlighters I have are like neon, like literally a highlighter, like neon yellow. Like this is peach.
I was gonna say on the dorsal, you can see like that hue of orange in it. On the lateral right there looks a little bit more highlighter yellow, but from the face all the way down the dorsal, I see like that hue of orange going through it.
Yeah, and the orange hue changes on these animals. So when they fire up and fire down, it's different. When they fire up, I find that the orange tones down to more of a peach. And when the animal fires down, the orange gets like orange, like Cheeto orange. Yeah, so
Cool
it's
animal.
very, very neat how they are. I have a couple of animals, lilies that have that line. I have one female lily that's
Are they
very
on
orange
here?
as well.
You have
Two
them
of them,
posted?
yeah.
Walk me
Uh,
through. Stop me, walk me, and stop me. See, just have her argument. See the difference? That one's, well, that
so
looks,
those are highlighter. So those are my empty back ones. Oh, you'd have to probably scroll down and keep going. So that one in the middle there.
Yeah.
No, not that one, the
Up.
one above it.
Yeah.
That's one of the females that came as well. She's a lily. And her color, like her head is more orange than the rest, I find.
Can see it along the crest, how deep
yeah.
orange that is, right?
And
Look at the
then,
back.
yeah.
It's almost what's that? It looks like a margin, the orange
In orange. Yeah.
in orange, right?
Pretty gecko.
And if you go down a little bit more, there should be a few others.
I'm not a big ball python fan, but that's a beautiful snake.
I was really excited to hatch those.
You hatched it, really?
Yeah, it's one of her hatchlings.
Very cool.
I get really excited when there's some projects I had started with VIP morphs that now are at the point where there's like hatchlings. So I'm like,
course.
oh, those are the animals that I had invested in. I'm like, let's see what they look like.
Very cool.
Keep going. So that's another one there. Yep, on the left.
That's cool.
That was the first one you had looked at by the Christmas tree. It's the same gecko.
See, something about it kept drawing me to it, right? So, yeah. See, I'd buy I'd buy that in a heartbeat if I saw it on the table.
Well, I'm
There's
working
certain
on
animals,
some.
I just don't care really what. I just have a look in my head that gives me a feeling, and when I see them, I don't care about pride. I don't care about anything. I just want that something
The
there.
orange, yeah, the orange tends to pop more on a red base, from what I'm seeing. And I do have
Really?
a pairing with this guy with a red phantom to try to get some red phantom lilies. So we'll see what happens, but definitely, like, she has the tangerine in her as well. You can see, like, she's a phantom, but her tail has orange on instead of the white. So it's exciting to see what the whole thing with breeding geckos is you have to be excited about what you're working with,
Hell yeah, we
right?
say it
At
all
the
the
end of the
time, Mark
day,
and me. Yeah.
you know, if you're not excited with the projects and you're just doing it to like produce animals or catch up to the next trend or whatever, then it's not going to have that same passion than if you're working with something that you're absolutely excited with. And this is the stuff I was excited with ball pythons, or bright oranges and bright colors and cool patterns, or so I'm kind of, when I started working with geckos, that was the same direction that I had, was I want to work with animals that I'm really excited to work with.
It's unfortunate that not everyone feels that way. It blows my mind all the time that that's not how everyone feels, right? Like
Yeah.
imagine doing something because someone else is doing it, and solely because someone else is doing it. Like, not that I'm talking bad about Brian. I love Brian. He's my, buddy of mine. But like, oh my God, Altitude's doing this,
Which
so
one?
I have to do this. Like doing something just because someone else is doing it. Like it just seems. I don't know. I just don't get it. Now doing something you're excited about, who cares what anyone else thinks? You're excited.
Oh, yeah.
You're excited to walk in your room and do something. That's all you need.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm like, the amount of excitement I had when I'm hatching out, the tangerine animals or the greens that are coming out, I'm just, like it blows me away. And some people might say, oh, it's just another phantom. Like, I mean, you put phantom to phantom, all you're getting is phantom animals. But every time I open them, like, that phantom has a little different shade. Then I get even more excited,
Good for you.
And yeah, so this one here, this is an empty back lily. And when she hatched, she had a whole stripe down her dorsal. And she's from that yellow phantom empty back that we saw earlier. So this is Lily Pool. So she's going to the cappuccino this season.
Now I see the empty back. Nice animal. Very, very nice animal.
Her white just spread like the white pattern just went everywhere on her.
I have animals that are 4 years old that still get whiter with every shed. This Lady Luck's animal I have, she literally is maybe 5 and still gets whiter every time she's shed. It's like, well, you're going to stop? Like, I thought we were done here.
Yeah.
Lily Pool. That's nice.
Yeah, I love
Deadpool was super popular then, so I was I need to have a Deadpool animal color Lily Pool.
Why not?
Love this. This is a beautiful one too. So what are you working on? Tigers? Would this be considered? What is this? What do you classify this as?
Yeah, so this is part of my Phantom project and Empty Back project. Same mom as Lily Pool.
Really?
Yeah, so the dad is a red Phantom Lily. And I popped out these, strawberry tiger phantom lily animals. So her stripes, this animal actually is more of an orangey yellow most of the time. And the stripes are red, which is kind of neat.
Very cool.
But yeah, so, and then she kind of has that little margin thing going on around her crests.
I love this one. This is awesome.
But I love bright colors. To me, bright colors and patterns. I want to make something different. That's what I find exciting. When this hatched, I was like, that's so cool.
It is. It really, really is. So do you work with tigers at all specifically? I don't see any, but...
No, I don't work with tigers specifically. I do have it in some of my lilies. So some of the tiger lily stuff has been popping out with my
we work
project.
with pixels.
I do. Well, yeah.
Is there something with this thing's eye? Why does it look like it has phantom eye or something?
Okay, so this is a little weirdo that I picked up. He's very orange. He has orange spots, which you might see. He has green and orange spots on this one, which is kind of weird. I'm still debating on what to eventually pair him with because he's pretty funky.
He's cool.
Yeah, very dark
for some reason.
Very dark eyes. Yeah, very dark eyes, and just a really weird looking gecko. Yeah,
my favorite ones. Very cool.
He's getting chunky, so almost there. But again, I'm like, oh, what do I pair this to? Definitely has tiger in him.
Does he?
Yeah, it's under the orange. You can kind of see it, and I've seen pictures of the parents as well they have tiger. So I wouldn't be surprised if
I thought it was cool. I put spotting.
Say, look, Mark thinks it is cool.
I think it's cool.
You commented on it. That's the dad of Lily Pool. So that's the lily that I put into the original empty back lilies that grew up.
All right, so you had mentioned that the green was one of your projects and the tangerine. What was or did I just miss it? What was the third primary focus you said?
So I have the greens, the empty backs and tangerines, and my line of pixel that I'm working on.
What an interesting segue. I know nothing about pixels. I know we were talking about
them recently.
Really? Before you came on, Mark and I, we were talking about Kristen, which I'm sure you know. I seen she's a good friend of both of ours, and we were talking about
I was
Pixel,
speaking
and
with
I
her
know nothing
today.
about it either. So feel free, both of you, to school me on what exactly, which one. Where do I start?
I don't know shit about pixels. So
This Pixel.
she's
So that first picture on the right that's Polybius. So that was the first female pixel that I had that popped out. So how it worked in how I came across it was it my first or second season? I had paired these two animals that don't look pixel, and I have them in another post as well if you want to see them. Actually, we can go and look at them because I posted them recently. It is the one right there on the left, that kind of lavender looking, that's the mom. So that's Queenie. And then the next picture is the dad, which is Falcor, who's a yellow base pinstripe.
I have a
And
Falcor.
those two,
I wouldn't have
I
thought would have
paired,
made that.
and I got the weirdest animals that popped out. And then I popped out these two that look pixel. So that one's Galaga, and the one before it, that's Polybius. Now they hatched out, they looked like red, and they had like this weird pattern and then a line straight down the back. Both of them. And they hatched out same the two eggs, same clutch. Everything else that kind of hatched out had weird scalation with the dorsal pattern, like just something off about them, but not the pattern of these two. So I held them back, and I've held back the other siblings as well.
Anthony's looking at the parents like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
right?
That
was how I felt when I hatched them. Okay. Yeah.
There's
I
a
just
tell
thought I was
somewhere. There's got to be a tell. Like, what is my not seeing?
So this is why when I saw these two, and I was doing some research early on and stuff, I'm like, it's recessive in mine. It has to be, because how did these two pop it out?
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's.
So is it known pixel though? Is this pixel for sure?
So when I hatched these out, I've been speaking to a lot of other people that worked with Pixel because I did deep dive. This was earlier on. This was like when AC Reptiles had first started posting stuff about Pixel on his site, and he had one animal that kind of looked similar to Polybius that he had listed as like a super pixel, right? So I'm like, okay, because I was trying to figure out what I hatched. And I'm like, hey, what is this? Okay, it looks kind of like that. And then I went down that rabbit hole of trying to figure out what's going on. Now I have paired the male with other other females. And they've produced some that have different scales, like on the dorsal, like different shape scales and stuff that I've held back, that I'm thinking, oh, well, if it is recessive, maybe these guys may potentially prove out to be hets. This is the year where I'm going to be able to confirm things. So they're old enough now, the visuals, that I can start testing to see if they're going to prove out. This is where the whole line breeding conversation comes up, what people don't like to talk about, where, I'm not planning on doing this long term and having them paired back and so on, but I'm doing it to be able to prove it out. Because in theory, if I'm putting a visual to a visual together, I should be getting all visuals if it's recessive and it's a gene, right? If I'm putting it back to a parent that's a het, I should be getting a percentage of visuals. So this is a test year right now, and the stuff that I'm producing, chances are I'm going to hold back to make sure that when they grow up, there's viability and so on, and that there's no issues with them, right? I got really lucky and I hatched out a female and a male.
So you're going to do brother to sister, these two.
I'm going to do brother to sister. I know it's controversial, but I need to test it out to
just
see.
Just move to the U.S. and it's all right. Just move to like West Virginia or something,
Hey, I need to make sure it's a thing, because I don't want to be someone who says I have something and it's not. So I need to prove out the gene. At the end of the day, the goal is to outcross it. So if it does have the results that I want from it, I will then be testing it out to Pangea line. I've been speaking to Kristen about testing out to Tinker and to kind of see how it works. And I know I've spoken to her as well with her project to kind of see if they're going to be compatible. But before we go down that route and start investing time in breeding of the animals, I want to make sure that it's something in the first place, right?
Sure,
That
you're
they're
doing it
not
the right
just,
way. That's the only way to
that they're
do it. I
not just,
mean,
an anomaly that popped out.
So let me ask a question. I'm sorry to cut you up. You
Yeah.
said you're gonna pair brother to sister, right? You
So
wouldn't pair
these two.
the brother to the mother?
So I have 3 pairings. He's going to sister. He's going to mom.
Okay.
And then I have a half sister. If you close this, I'll show you the other one that I kept. Go scroll up. That one.
This one right here?
That's half sister. So I'm going to pair him to her.
As well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you should have some good results. I mean, whatever comes
Well,
from
I'll
it, you
have
should have
3. Well, that's the thing. One, I'll be able to prove the recessive, right? How it works because it's going to sister and to mom. And that's another one. That's a half brother. So this was the I have a female red harlequin that I had paired Falcor to. That does a lot of snowflakey and very
Look at that
patterns. So
one.
these
Look
are
at how much
all
of
the
that.
years of her hatchlings. But the first ones, this one here at the beginning, and then a couple of these are from the pairing with that potential het pixel male. Not this one, but the next one.
Well, he's a powerhouse, whatever the hell he's doing.
She's getting paired to the tangerine stuff this year. So this guy is a brother or a half brother. This is another half brother that I held back that was bred into that like Polybius line.
See those dashes.
But
this one's awesome.
But yeah, so it'll be exciting to see. This is the year that I get to really prove it out, right? And see. And if it does prove out, then we have another line of pixel, which would be pretty exciting.
So what exactly, and again, this is me, I'm my very untrained eye. What exactly does pixel do? Is it a scalation thing? Is it just like an isolation of like what?
So from the experience from the animals I have, it disrupts the pattern. So you're getting that pixelated pattern. The side belly pattern gets disrupted. The dorsal gets disrupted.
But does it like
belly
suppress? Like, is it doing this? Like how it's leaving the sides blank and forcing the color to the top and the bottom, the pattern?
Yeah, it chews away at it. So it kind of like reduces it. The other thing I've noticed as well is it messes with the scale shape on the dorsal. So a lot of them tend to have like random size scales on the dorsal, and they'll be like larger, thicker, flatter scales, and some other ones are smaller. So that definitely I notice it changes the way the scales are on the back of the animal and sometimes on the side.
But can you have a pixel with like pixelated pattern on the laterals? Or
well, that's what I'm trying to work out, right? I'm trying to prove the line, and I'm also trying to see how it interacts with different patterns. So these two animals, like this one here in Polybius, I find that their base kind of goes greenish sometimes. It's kind of like that weird kind of greenish base. And then the pattern is very orangey. He's a little bit more pale, and I don't know if it's maybe a hypo influence from his dad, and because both parents had hypo in them, right? So the 2 animals I'm working with are very hypo animals. So you're getting like that diluted color in these, right? Whereas compared to, I know like the pixel line that Kristen's working with, hers are very vibrant orange, whereas mine came from 2 animals that were really pale. But because he was paired to Monroe and she has a lot of pattern, If it does end up being recessive and the ones I've held back do prove out to be hets, then I'm hoping to see how it interacts with like extreme harlequin
Yeah, that'd be
that
cool to see.
extra pattern.
So most of the
And I
ones
also
I've
have
seen
pinstripes in my line too, right? So
look like this.
what's that? Sorry?
No, I said most of the ones I see look like him. They have blank sides with this stuff going on the top. So I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
sure if it was like that was like a trait marker, like it just making blank sides on the animals, or
And I think it's still so new that we
yeah,
don't know. Like it has to be worked into different projects. And like, for instance, the question of, what a lily pixel looks like. I can tell you I've produced animals because I have empty back projects. I've produced empty back animals that have no pinstripe that look pixel because there's no pinstripe. So the way that the pattern is disrupted on the back from the empty back is kind of different than if it had pinstripe. So that makes it a little bit tricky when like people are going out to buy an animal that they think may be pixel.
sure.
It might actually not be that. It could just be something that has empty back or something else that's going on. So I think that's one of the advice I would give, because I know that it's new, and I've seen a lot of people, go around and say, oh, I think I picked up a pixel, or, and oh, I'm going to work it in my projects. Like something like this that's new. Unfortunately, unlike ball pythons, where we have genetic testing and you could set in a shed test and prove out the genes, we don't have that with geckos. So it's when in doubt, prove it out. And I find that sometimes people will get really quick to jump the gun to call something, or say that they
Sure,
found something
yeah.
or working with something without having put the time in to like fully prove it out. So I call mine a pixel line. If it doesn't prove out, I shall find another name.
Looks like you might go green.
That's one of the green babies. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have been letting
you
some
said
go
it,
then.
your pixels are completely different because you're out in Canada, so your geckos have nothing to do with any of these that they're working with over here, correct?
Yeah. And that baby there is also from the het pixel male. So I've produced a bunch of these that's a phantom lily. And they have heavy tigering, but again, the scales are weird on the dorsal and so on. But yeah, so the animals that I got, I did speak to the breeder, and we talked about the lineage because she keeps track of the lineage. So there is a trace back in like the great grandfather and the other one that potentially traces back to AC reptiles. Animals that she has that are full or half siblings to Falcor have produced visual pixel like animals in her collection. And she has sent me photos. So she's getting the same results on her side, which is pretty exciting. So I've been kind of keeping track I have all the pictures of the lineage and kind of keeping track of results that she was getting as well, and then how it's working here. And hopefully I'll be able to come out and release some great news this year once, I start getting eggs and animals start hatching and things go in a positive way. Here's hoping.
Yeah, there's a quite a few of you working with pixels and stuff. So soon, I know I've been hearing you guys talking about it for some time. So soon, I'm assuming some information should come out to make it
Yeah, I know.
better than
Yeah,
what
I
it
know
is right now.
Kristen, she's working on a paper with a few people. I've given her some of the notes that I've come across with some of my animals as well. It's a group effort. It's really trying to share as much. It's a fine line, right? When you're working with something, you want to share, but at the same time, you don't want to give out too much information until you've had the time to really prove it out and make sure that it's concrete. So like I can only say my experience with working with the animals that I've hatched and that I'm working in my projects. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it's fact. Like for me, I feel like it's recessive, how it's popping out in my projects. Hopefully this year I'll be able to kind of really hone that in and confirm some of those theories that I have. But as it currently stands, they're just theories, right?
Yeah.
But it's a collective effort, because then once we have this, then I share my notes and we can then try to cross different lines and see if they're compatible. And I mean, it was the same thing with the Xanthics, right?
Have you noticed that they have the highlighter yellow on their mouths instead of white?
I actually haven't noticed. I know that this guy here has a couple random white spots.
I mean, that's what it's looking like in the camera. I don't know what it looks like in person, but it's from these two babies that are pixel. It's looking like that's yellow. The reason why I say that is because I noticed that in some of my animals that have highlighter, it's yellow or very highlighter yellowish instead of white on the mouth.
Yeah, I haven't noticed it on these guys. One thing I have noticed with the animals that have hatched out from these, like from Falcor, like from his pairings, that their pattern grows a lot. So these guys have way more vibrant pattern than they had when they were younger. And like I hatched out, one of the half siblings hatched out looking like a phantom tiger, and all of a sudden now has pattern. Then that came like later.
And you said they hatch with a line, and that disappears as they get older also, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing that I've noticed, like that it changes. The one thing that's very consistent is the weird scales. So a lot of the animals that I've held back that are pos hets would have like those weird scales, almost like their patterns chewed up, but not to the point where it looks pixel.
And you're seeing that with your bare eyes, or you're zooming in on it?
Oh no, with you it's very, very obvious.
Oh, okay.
You can see it with your bare eyes. Yeah. So these are the two when they're a bit younger. I could talk about genetics all day long. But you have to be patient, right? When you're working with stuff like this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
This is now
patient. That's the one that you were looking for.
That's what I wanted to see.
That's the one. Video.
Yeah.
There's an actual picture of it further down when I got it, when I picked it up from the import. So if you scroll down, you'll be able to see it like its own
right there,
picture.
No,
no, those are the empty back lilies. Okay, so here's some of the ones that popped out. So on the right, that's Falcor again.
Oh, hold up. Look at that.
That's you. You're doing my endorsement for 15 minutes of lame. So that's the dad. And it, like, you wouldn't have guessed that those animals would have popped out.
No, not at all.
From this, right?
Not at all. Which makes me think more that it is something.
That's the mom. And this one, actually, you'll see some of the other siblings. I think I had them all in this video.
She's got the white spot. I thought he had the white spot gene.
So there's one. So there's one of those weird visual that popped out. So that's Galaga. And there's Polybius. And now you're going to see a couple of the other siblings that I held back. I'm pretty sure they're in this one.
See, so even all of this got suppressed as he got bigger. All that kind
Yeah.
of.
So this is another one I held back. That's a full sibling to those two. And his whole dorsal, the scales are weird. They're all chewed up. That's another one. Yeah, so it was just a little bit at the end. But there's a couple of these other ones where they're just kind of thick scales, small scales, and just kind of randomly all over the place. Then you get into all the 15 minutes of lame stuff.
Was that this? Did you do it this year? Oh, there
No, last year. There's the female right there.
it is. Yeah.
There it is.
So this would be considered an empty back, or is
Yeah,
an
so
empty back lily?
she'd be an empty back lily.
A super empty back would just be bigger.
Well, I haven't seen, like, we haven't
I'm so
seen.
confused on terminology. Like I really
We haven't seen
Show
a
her.
super empty back.
Show her.
I want to see the picture.
I don't have I don't have I don't
like
know what
20 of
any
them.
good ones are, but I'll just take
You'll
got
have to
like
share
20
it
of
with me after.
Yeah, I'll send
He's
them.
got like he's
Yeah,
got like
there's
55
There's a lot
of
of them. I make them.
There's been a couple that I've seen that were posted that were saying that they were super empty back lilies, and then when you look, like, they kind of look phantom, and then like a phantom lily, and then when you look back into some of the lineage, there's phantom in there. It's been one of those things. I know that David over at Tiki's was working on trying to do some super empty back lilies. I haven't touched base with him this year yet to see the results from that.
Altitude Exotics just posted geckos for sale, and he's got them on sale right now.
Super empty
back lily whites.
So look at that little one. Go up to the top on the skull on the right. So this one hatched out, which is weird. So this one is a phantom lily with my empty back pairing. So when the dorsal, you're seeing pieces missing down the center. So I'm thinking this might actually be a empty back phantom lily, because it has the chewed up down the center. Because how else do you tell an empty back phantom lily?
What makes this a phantom, Crystal? Why? What makes this?
It's a phantom.
No, I'm not questioning you. I am very confused and out of the loop when it comes to terminology. But I think phantom, like my phantom lilies, have no pattern. They have a dash down the side and a white tail, but they don't have pattern. But I've heard other people call other things phantoms. But what makes something? Mark, you too. Someone just school me real quick. Why? How is this a phantom?
So the phantom removes the pattern off the dorsal. Now, this specific pairing has the mom from this pairing has a tendency to produce high pattern animals. Like I have a lot of phantom animals that are white wall, quad, pin phantom, and you see all the pattern under that so how I always like to say phantom is like putting a sheer blanket over the animal, where it's just kind of mutes things. So you're seeing, like with the lily whites, the phantom tends to remove that dorsal pattern. Usually it strips it, right? So this one has a high white, like kind of snowflaking that happens, and this is Snowmageddon. So you see pictures of it now, like it's just completely blown up. But if you'd see it now, it would be hard to say, it's a phantom lily, but you wouldn't be able to say that it was an empty back. And you could see when it was hatched, you could really tell that there was that empty back there.
I can see with the line of black going up in the middle of his tail.
It has a line down the tail. You have the chewed up down the center. And I know there's empty back in the lineage. And I've seen other animals that hatched out, other hatchlings were empty back that didn't have a lily in it. But if you were to scroll all the way to the top of my page, that animal now looks so much different, right? So Right, go down a bit. It's right. Keep going a little bit more. It was the Christmas time, right there on the right.
One of these, really?
No, to the far. No, to the far right. Click that. The one on the right. That's it now.
No way. Really?
So both of those are phantom lilies. But the white just spread like crazy on it.
Interesting. Both of them are friggin' awesome.
But that's what I find so fun, is how to see how the gene will interact with other things, right?
Oh, that's that tigery one that we were looking at earlier too, right?
Yeah, so they're siblings.
These, I was just gonna say, so then these two are siblings.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They also have this weird dark line around their eye, which I've noticed on them.
Very cool. All right, so I got something I want to hear you two talk about. Where is it? Came across them and I was like, this would be fun to listen to.
And I apologize for people who are listening to this. I feel like my nickname, my husband calls me a little fruit fly, because like I'm all over the place.
Me too.
And I'll be like, and this. And I'm like, you got to keep me on track, okay? It's like I will go on tangents and take it a completely different direction.
Probably worse than you. Look at this bad boy here. We got black spots, red spots, yellow spots. So do you have Dalmatian projects, or are these just some animals you have because you like them? What's
I have one Dalmatian project. Was hoping to do red spots. I was having a really hard time finding the right male. And then I came across Vegas and actually really liked him because I like him. I love Vegas. He's the sweetest gecko. The female that he was paired to last season is the lily white, right on the right there. So she's lily white, yellow base, and she has red spots. So she'll have red spots on her head, on the lily. She has red spots on the white, and she has some black spots too.
I'm going to answer my own question. Like, do you think it's the lily that's making them red? But clearly not, because there's black.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I notice when I at expos is people love spots. They, you have breeders that want to stay away from spots, but every time I go to an expo, they're like, do you have a red dal? Do you have something with dal spots? And that was something that I was asked time and time again. And I said, well, if I'm going to do a fun project with spots, like I already have so much invested in some other projects and I know my limits and I don't want to have my hands in everything, right? So I want to do something fun. So this one here was more of a, lily spot, like dal spot project, mainly trying to see if I can make something like her, but with more of the red spots. And I also have a cappuccino who is covered in spots. So that's the next kind of generation of it, is going to be doing like some dal fraps. So the weird thing with this combo is every single lily that popped out of this pairing has been a phantom lily. And every single non-lily animal has been a patterned dal. I have gotten 0 phantom dals with no lily. And no lilies that are not phantom.
But are you getting spots on the lilies?
All of them. Yeah. They're spots. They're small, not as spotty as the non-lilies, and they're still young. So I'm hoping that there'll be red spots that will start coming out as they grow. I'm not very versed in red spots. I'm sure, Mark, you can answer that question. How long does it take for the red spots to show?
It depends on the pairing. I
Mm-hmm.
have red spots that are showing the first month, and they continue growing as the geckos get older, and I have some that are turning red as the geckos get older, but they're black spots. So
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, I've had pure black spots turn red, and you can see it. I scoped them all, so you can
Mm-hmm.
start to see them turning red with the scope, like what are the bullseye spots type of deal.
Yeah.
You see it in the center, and they eventually turn red. Um,
Okay.
but it depends on the pairing. I have a red phantom lily whites. They're all with red spots, and I have about 10 of them.
Okay.
They all have red spots already, and some are older than others, but they all have red spots. Nothing.
Yeah,
I don't have nothing yellow lily white with red spots though. To be honest with you.
she's ready now, like to breathe. Like she's another one I was thinking of pairing with Vegas. I like that her line has a lot of the portholes,
I was gonna say.
and I'd like to kind of see that kind of spread as well. I mean, I have dowels. Like I have a handful of them. Now, I wouldn't say I have a whole bunch of dowels. I mean, there's dowels in a lot of my stuff. There's dowels in all my pixel stuff. It's just there. But just like dedicated dowel, that there is the core for basically.
Sure. I listen. I don't know
Mhm.
anybody that ever got into crested gecko, and this is God's honest truth. If anyone
And
is
there's the
that I haven't
cap right there.
spoke to, but most people, everyone that I can remember off the top of my head that ever got into crested geckos loved Dalmatians first. Everyone loved Dalmatians. Then the more they get into it, the I don't even want to say better their collections get, but the more they refine projects, they start to build this sort of, they turn their nose up to Dal spots. But everybody at
Mhm.
one point loved Dals, right? Like it's so when you go to shows, they sell, they're attractive, they're awesome. I mean, I look at them now and it still blows my mind. Me and Mark talk about it all the time. Like how people are, I mean,
Yeah.
how do you not love them? They're freaking cool. I get it, to want Dal spots where you want your Dal spots, but how do you not love a crazy bright red super Dow with giant black ink spots everywhere? Like, how do you not love that?
Mhm.
Like, they're
Oh, they're
awesome.
beautiful. And
I mean,
I
even the patterned
love,
ones,
yeah.
even sorry, even the
No, it's
pattern
okay.
ones, I'm finding as the years go by, there's more and more and more people wanting to work with pattern Dalmatians. But I also understand, for the people that want that clean, crisp pattern, Harlequin and stuff, a Dalmatian spot can be a smear in the painting. You know what I'm saying? So I understand it. And then for some, it's like I want to try to cover this Harlequin or empty back or whatever with spots all over to create something new. So I get both sides of it. Like
Mhm.
Sure.
I get both
The
sides.
only thing I
It's just adding
understand
sparkles to your
is
gecko.
that it's a gene,
Yeah.
right? Like I believe Dalmatian is a gene. And for the only, at least from my collection, the reason that I would try not to have Dal spots in something is simply to refine genetics. It's a gene, so I want to be as precise as I can with what genes are in this animal. And again, Dalmatian being one, it's either in it or it's not in it, if that makes any sense. And again, that's just personal. But as far as visually looking at something, I mean, I could care less. I think they're
But
Yeah,
attractive,
there's,
well,
you know.
that's
yeah.
the whole point. Like if you want to make an all white gecko, you want to make an all white gecko, you don't want it to have spots. And then if
Mhm.
you want to make an all white gecko with spots, you want spots. The person that's making an all white gecko, if they get a spot, it's like, damn, I really wanted an all white gecko. I don't want spots. So
Yeah. I mean, there's so many fun genes to work with, and like, and even it could be so variable. And I always, when I'm working with something, I always kind of remind myself the stuff I was working with ball pythons, how far in advance they are when have combo genes. Where you're like, okay, I put, an asphalt and a yellow belly together and it makes, a freeway or a highway, or, depending on the different genes, it'll make a little yellow line down, and some things will disrupt the pattern. Some things will make a full new combo. And we're starting to see that with geckos. Like, now you have cappuccino and lily white makes a frappuccino. That's a combo. That's a combo name. So you're starting to see things like that kind of popping up where we're having combo names now. But again, like, if we had shed testing, it would be a lot easier to kind of start being able to remove things or add things and really identify. Right now we don't have that. So we have to play with.
What does it take to do that?
Move it out.
Do you think, and this is an honest question because I don't know really about shed testing and ball pythons and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I just know that I like certain ones, and you know more than me. Do you think that the shed testing will take away from the fun that everybody's having trying to do all of these things? Would that make it easier for just the regular person to say, hey, I'm going to pay to have this done, instead of the person spending years doing all of these things and finding out that information? Or do you think it won't affect it?
So it would affect it. There's two sides to that coin, right? So the one side is, and I've seen it. I mean, we have ball pythons. We've seen it. We've
Yeah.
sent things off to for shed testing. When you have new projects, like working on combos and stuff, and you're working with things and they're recessive, the shed testing comes in handy for recessives because, when you're working with hets to hets, then you can prove out the pos hets. So from that perspective, it's helpful to move a project along quicker.
Yeah.
The downside of that is now you're able to know which ones don't have it. And then they become, some people will see them as lesser value animals. And then you end up having a lot of animals that are not needed in projects because people aren't holding things back for maybe it has the gene kind of attitude. You know what I mean? You're having a lot of, we're going to breed and then we're going to hold back everything that has it. And then,
that's
sell
what
what doesn't.
That's what I mean. Like, it makes it easier per se. And then it's going to be like, well, you know what? I'll just pay to get these tested and they don't have it. So
yeah.
Whereas,
so the one side of that is you're seeing, it's harder to scam people when you have it shed tested, because you can't sell something as having a het when it's actually supposed to be a possible het, and it's a possible het, but you're selling it as a het because someone can just shed test it now and find out it's not a het. So in those cases, I mean, it can help with that. When you're,
but at the same time, it removes the 50% and the 66% bullshit, and it's just
it removes that value, because if you're selling an animal at 66% het, you might have sold it a little bit more than if you paid for the shed testing and find out it's not a het, and you're like, oh, now it's not a het. So like, there's that. So from a breeder standpoint, selling an animal, it can remove value from an animal, but it also can add value, but it also can help a buyer not have to pay a higher price for an animal that may not have the het, right? So there's pros and cons. The other pro to it is, like, we have a project we work with in ball pythons called Maple. And Maple is a newer gene that popped out from a Canadian breeder. And the appearance of it looks very similar to like Ultramel and Monarch. So for years, people were saying, oh, it's just another Ultramel. And they're just saying it's just the same gene that's popped up in a collection. And we worked with the shed tester here in Canada to test it against those genes to prove that negative. So it is a different gene. It's its own gene, and it's not the same. So in those cases, that could help. So like a perfect example, Pixel, right? If you're working with Pixel and it's recessive and you've been able to identify that gene, then you can say without a doubt, this is Pixel. You can test it. It's the same. If it's not, then it might be a different gene, and then you can kind of test to see if it has if it's an allelic with that as well. So there are some pros to that, where you're not having maybe the same gene being, sold under different names, or multiple genes being sold under the same name that don't end up being compatible.
Can you imagine crested gecko breeders trying to collect sheds? Be up all night fighting your geckos for
that was an ongoing joke I had with
really?
Charlie over at Shed Testing.
Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Let me get that.
Because I was bugging him. I'm like, do you want to do shed testing? So this, with ball pythons, you can get a baseline where you're like, this is a normal ball python, and then this is a pastel. So it's easier to kind of isolate those genes. Like, one, how do you do that with geckos when there's so many things stacked? Like, what is your baseline at the end of the day? Two, you're all going to be on shed watch. You'd be like, oh, I see, he's going to shed. I got to get that piece. You're just going to hover over the enclosure and wait until he starts pulling his little glove off. And you're like, that's mine.
Would be a trip.
That would be quite a thing, quite a sight to see.
I'd imagine something will eventually. Well, I don't want to say something would come up, because you'd think if they were going to, they'd probably done it with leopard geckos too. But
so I've heard that they're able to confirm the sex from the egg.
Leopards.
So that's been something in the works for sexing.
Interesting.
Leopards.
But I think cresties as well.
Really?
But I think this is like very new. Don't quote me. I haven't looked in to see updates. This was just kind of a discussion that was had. Oh yeah, I can do this
first, folks. On the New Cow Corner podcast, reporting live, Crystal, Gecko Diva. Nah.
He's going to be like, why'd you talk about it? It's not been announced. No, this was something that was brought up, I think, a year ago, and I was bugging about shed testing. I'm like, oh, come on, like, let's try it as a fun project, for geckos. Let's try to figure it out. And it's like, I don't have time for this, but we can check sexes and eggs. I'm like, oh, really?
That's cool. Crazy. That's cool to hear.
Yeah. So I'm sure there'll be stuff coming out for that once it's, available. And all these things take time to kind of finalize and have it where it's, fail proof, right? And they're confident that they can give a result.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right, we're at an hour and 40 minutes. Now, I don't want to cut you off by any means, or cut anyone off, or end this quite yet, but I know people's attention spans are short. I have some questions. Now, again, I'm not trying to end this, but I do want to ask some questions that I jotted down to ask you. What does the future look like for Gecko Diva as a breeder, and what's the future look like for Coffee and Cresties? What are your plans? So it's like a 5-year plan. What do you want to do?
So with Gecko Diva, like, the projects I have are always kind of, I look for, there's always a new goal, right? So it's just going to be continuing, like, for innovation. Like, for me, I always want to try to make something, thinking out of the box and producing really cool animals. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I love breeding these geckos. And I think it's just going to be more vibrant, more fun animals that I'll have more available that I could share with everyone. And a little bit more solid details on some of these projects, like the pixel stuff I'm working with and the greens and trying to figure those out. Ultimately, I'd like to come to the States at some point and maybe come and do, come hang out at some expos and do a little bit more of networking and kind of growing that side of things. Like, I have some merch and stuff and kind of growing, I guess, more of that Gecko Diva
brand.
I wouldn't say brand, but brand, like, brand. The fun, the merch I have, and I have those fun characters and kind of expand on those with the projects and stuff. So yeah, like, for me, it's just always innovation. What can I do next? How can I try to make something that pushes the envelope, or, like, take something that we're working with in a project and takes it to the next level, right? And and figuring out how those combos work. So it's me, it's just like an ongoing projects. So like that's kind of my goal. Keep making some nice animals. For Coffee and Cresties, I've been taking a little bit of a break, and I know people are gonna give me a hard time for that. There hasn't been many the last Sunday. I've been really working on hitting the gym, guys, and like trying to get myself back on track. And I'm a busy woman, so I do want to start kicking it off again. Probably going to wait a little bit longer and kick it off in the springtime, and have a good, like, guest list that I can announce and be able to promote. The problem I was finding is doing a weekly live podcast is a lot of coordination, a lot of promotion, and finding the time to do that. I was doing it ad hoc. So it was week to week, and I felt like I wasn't doing it justice by being able to promote enough ahead of time and to get everything kind of sorted. So I think that's the goal with that, is to kind of get things a little bit more planned ahead of time and have it set and kind of revive it. The other thing too is the Coffee and Cresties After Dark. I have a lot of fun doing those ones that I did, where we had the panel discussions where we were talking about genetics and the industry chats. So I'd like to have some more of those as well. But I ask everyone to put in recommendations of who you want to see.
Cool. I personally love the show. Like I said, I've been a fan of it since I can remember you've been doing it. I think it's a great platform. And for anyone that hasn't checked it out, head over to Gecko's. Is it Gecko Diva? It's Coffee and Cresties. What is your YouTube?
It's under Gecko Diva. Yeah, the YouTube is Gecko Diva, but the show is Coffee and Cresties. So if you look up either, you'll find it.
Yeah, check it out, guys. It's awesome, dude. I love it. I love the show. Like, it's definitely something you can sit back and listen to. They're not little short 10 minutes one. If you guys are fans of the longer stuff like Mark and me, you'll love it. It's something you can sit back and listen to on a long ride, or while you're working out, or in your gecko room cleaning and feeding. It's a nice show. It's very
something
cool
to wake up to on Sunday morning and just hang out with your cup of coffee.
Absolutely, have a coffee.
Absolutely.
The whole intent of it was to give a platform for people to show off what they're working with. So you got to know, because not everyone does expos. Not everyone is out there and has visibility, and it was to kind of build that trust. So people got to know breeders, put a face to a name, and got to know the projects they're passionate about. And that's the whole point of the show, right?
That's huge. It's huge.
Yeah. Hopefully we have some young ladies to hop on, empowering these kids.
Oh yeah, I hope so. If they see
what we're saying. I'm saying ladies because you're saying this is a promotion for, powerful women.
Yeah.
Well, with saying that, what would you say to some young ladies out there that are considering or maybe thinking about, like, how would you guide them into the journey that you've taken? What are some good things that you would tell them? Like, tell my 10-year-old daughter how to get into this.
Should go buy her ball python.
Yeah, like inspire.
Learning patience is one thing. You get really excited and you just want to hop on and try to get everything, and I want this, I want that. Animals that make you happy, work with the animals that make you happy, because at the end of the day, that's where you come back. And when you're coming into your room and you're doing chores, like after this, I'm going to feed geckos, and then I still got to go to work tomorrow morning. So you want to make sure that it's going to be something that you're going to enjoy. I like opening my bins and be like, oh, you look pretty today. And every single bin I open, that's how I have a reaction. It's probably why it takes me so long to feed them. But
yeah,
I would say, just as long as you're doing something that where your heart is and you're passionate about it, it makes the tougher days easier. And then you're not having a situation where you feel like you lose the passion or, you know, reasons to kind of get out of it and so on. Because I find if you're in it for the right reason and it's something you're actually enjoying and it brings you joy, it tends to stick around.
Sure. I have one more question I meant to ask earlier and I forgot about when we were talking about the genetics and projects you have going on. If you could add, and not that you wouldn't have if you could already, but assuming you don't have everything you want because you are a family woman and have a house and bills to pay and you can't spend every dollar on geckos, if price were of no concern, would you add any other projects, and what projects would you add to your collection if money were nothing?
If money wasn't an issue, I'm torn between the pied and the marbled stuff. I think those are really cool.
You don't want chicken strips.
No. I like fire. I like it when it has the one. I find like, and I'm sure there's going to be some really cool animals that are going to get produced in the super form eventually with time with certain combos. And if you would have asked me this maybe a year ago, I may have said Chocho because I really like the Chocho stuff. But I find someone may be able to show me something different, but I find as they get older, they kind of get more white and lose that kind of vibrancy that you see when they're hatchlings. So I would have to say, like, I really like those cool, like, pied and even the marble stuff that's coming out with the cool pattern. And
Sure.
those would be something I would definitely get into.
Cool.
Very.
Do you have any other questions, Mark? Do you have anything you want to ask, or?
I feel like Mark had something he wanted to add there.
No, I like the marbling. I really like the marbling. I like the pied. I like the Chocho as well. I like the leucistic. Am I willing to invest in that stuff? No, I don't have the money to invest in that stuff. So
That question was if money wasn't an issue.
money's always an issue, girl. Like money always an issue over here.
Am I getting a pied or a marbled? Absolutely not. I have a budget.
You know, I have a budget. We're having fun on this level right now. But my question would be to piggyback off of inspiring young ladies, just as a basis for everybody to learn from today. Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently that you see yourself now saying, I wish I could go back and probably do this different, to give advice to the people?
Great question.
I wouldn't say for Gecko Diva because I had already done those mistakes with VIP morphs. So when we started with the snakes, we just bought everything that we thought was pretty and didn't really put as much. And I mean, you hear this story time and time again with people who even got into geckos, right? Where you're getting projects that you realize aren't really stuff that maybe you wanted to work with, right? Or you know, and so those mistakes were kind of made when we started with snakes, you know, where we had things as like, you know, maybe you got something because it seemed popular at the time. You're like, I'm not really into it. I don't know why I got into that project. I have to say with Gecko Diva, when I started it, it was very focused from the beginning. Originally I hadn't intended for it to be its own thing. It was going to be something that was maybe an add-on to VIP morphs, and I would just have some geckos. And it became its own thing because of how passionate I was for that specific species and for the genes that I wanted to work with. So mistake-wise for the geckos, I don't really think I have any because I've kind of learned before starting it. But yeah, if anyone's coming straight into projects, I would just say don't rush into it and get as much as you can before you've actually learned what you like and learn how to work with the species, because you might get overwhelmed.
It's good advice. So it really is. Be strategic. Be strategic with your project, your purchases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I I will say, because I'm always um don't I feel like I hear that a lot, but I did the same thing. You know, how do you know what you like until you have everything that you like?
A
How
valid
can
point.
you decide what you want to focus on until you get that itch? Because it's like, maybe you could help with that, because I'm pretty sure there's other people out there that they see these animals and they're like, oh, I want an Xanthic, I want a Dalmatian, I want a
Hmm.
Harlequin, I want an empty back, oh, I want a lily white, oh, I want that, I want the green, I want the monochrome, I want the chocho. And then once they have it all, they're like, well, you know what? I don't need a chocho and I don't need a empty back. I think I'm going to just focus and hone in on this better.
Hmm. So when I had started with the geckos, that like I didn't get a lot of geckos. I had a few, and I did kind of just pairing to see, how it would be if this was right for me. That's how I started it. Oh, probably half my projects were surprises that I fell into. Like I didn't go out there buying an empty back or buying into Pixel. Like these are things that popped up that I realized I really liked. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to focus on that and I'm going to make more of these. Right. So the progression of how it happened for me was just natural. It ended up being animals that I had that I kind of was trying testing the waters to see if it was something that I liked. And it turned out to be things that I actually really got excited about and really enjoyed. At the end of the day, when I started my business, it was very much, and it's tough to do this, but I have core projects. I have Phantom, Soft Scale, Empty Back, Pixel, and Hypo. Those are my 5. So every time I think of buying an animal or I think of expanding on a project, I say, which 5? Where is it going? And how is it helping it? And those are the questions. And if it doesn't fit in any of those projects, then no. Like, for perfect example, when Sable came out, I loved the look of Sable. I was like, oh, they're so pretty. I want to get a Sable. Then I sit there and I'm like, what do I want to put Sable in? And I'm still sitting here saying, I don't know what I want to put Sable in. And why do I want to put Sable in that project? And how is it going to get me to the goal I want for that project? So I still don't have Sable.
So
So
a
I think
key
it's just,
aspect from that is, just because you see something that you want, that doesn't mean you have to rush into buying it. You
yeah.
can sit back and wait and get that at a later point in time where you really figure out where you're going to put it or how you're going to use it.
And then sometimes you'll see the animal, like I have my green project, and then there was the green that came up over at Reptile City, right? And I'm like, I have to have that. That's a key animal for that project. I need to have that animal. So sometimes, when you have those core things, then it's easier to make those decisions, and it's easier to walk away from something and to say no. I don't have tricolors in my project. So when I pop out tricolors, I'm like, well, to me, that's something easy. That's a sale. That's an animal that will help somebody else,
Me too.
and if there's something available, it's not something that I'm looking to buy. So like when you have those ground lines, like, really, really figuring out what you want and it's honed in, it makes those decisions a lot easier.
Pied crested geckos cost? I'm looking on if I can't find a pied crested gecko or the marble crested gecko. How much
I've
are
never
those
seen
things?
one for sale.
I have not seen the marbles on. I saw pieds on fetal
Oh, really?
Oh,
Okay.
really?
recently.
I'm just over here taking
I
my
shall
notes and writing my stuff down, and I'm like, damn, how much do they cost? Like, where do I find them?
here. I will tell you.
This thing's a marble times something.
Currently there is 2 pieds on fetal. One is 15,000 and the
Jeez.
other is 36,000.
How? Come on, bro. Are you I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Blessings to all who work with Pied.
So you hear it first, Gecko Diva is not going to have Pied in her collection anytime soon.
Ditto for the Gecko room. Anthony's obviously looking at his bank account right now, transferring things
Well, I
over,
want to
and he's
see what
about
they
to make a
look
purchase.
like first. I thought I had. Wasn't there a fetal app? Why do I feel like I had it and now I don't have it?
You have to look up air.fetal.
Air.fetal?
Yeah, so I've learned this recent because they're looking at doing another fetal import. The Korean one, the fetal one, is blocked with the VPNs now for North America, so you can't go and see it. Because you used to be able to go and see air fetal, and then you could go on the Korean one on Google and it would translate it, but then you can find out who the breeders were, because on that fetal it would tell you who the breeders were.
Yeah.
So you would cross-reference animals and stuff, and you can get more info. I went and checked the other day, and now you could only see air fetal.
And where did you type? Just typed in Pied. Where's the search?
Yeah, there's
right there, I see it.
At the top. You can narrow it down.
So have you done any imports from Korea, Crystal?
Yeah, I did one last year. I have the tangerine empty back cap Cheeto Man.
Okay.
And the green Hulk that came.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I thought you said you got
I
it from
brought two.
LM.
Just two.
And how was that process? Was it smooth for you? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was great. Little Monsters did a great job. I mean, for me, it's a double, right? It goes from Korea to the States and then another export from the States to Canada.
Is that expensive? How expensive is it to import animals?
That's why I yeah.
Well, just from the States to Canada, it depends on how many animals. Like I think I brought 5 from the States last time, and it was like a flat fee of like 300 Canadian for the import. Plus we pay a 5% duty fee on the value of the animal. And then there's a tax on the 300. And then there's also, if you're buying from multiple breeders, they charge you, I think, an extra $60, I think, per breeder that you're adding, because they have to grab the animals from different breeders and put them together. And then once they get to Canada, then there's the shipping fee from them to you. The last time I did a US import, it was like 800 Canadian for the import.
Not including the animal.
That's on top of the animal.
I'd be looking for Canadian breeders. Damn.
It was cheaper for me to import from Europe than it was from the States.
That kind of.
But they do a great job. I mean, we don't have many companies to do shipping in Canada. So like the 2 main ones that we're doing within Canada is Reptile Express or Reptile Runner. And then the main one that we're using for imports is Reptile Express. Yeah.
What the hell makes this thing pied? All those little holes or something?
I don't know. The 2 that they have posted there aren't as vibrant as the ones I've seen online. I know one of the tells is like their toes are like kind of...
Yeah, well, that's what I had.
Like white. But yeah, I don't have one and I don't work with it, so I can't speak to it.
Well, I'm not paying $36 for that. I mean, it looks
pictures that I see online.
What is its toes?
There's some other really neat ones that have hatched out recently too that are phantom with black eyes. Those are kind of cool.
Pieds?
No.
Just phantoms?
Like just almost black, and they have black eyes. Yeah. There's been some neat ones hatching out like that. And there was another neat project I saw was lily whites with navy blue eyes. Yeah. Which was kind of cool.
Navy blue eyes? That's real specific, Crystal.
I'll send you a picture. Instead of being like the light blue on the lily, it's like a dark blue, like a navy blue.
I haven't seen that. Send me a picture.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Cool. It sounds cool. Let me ask you something. Are crested geckos the only geckos you work with, or you got anything else hiding back there?
Mainly crested geckos. I do have some morning geckos.
Type A, B, C.
C.
Nice. They
Yeah,
look
and then
beautiful.
they get so light.
Yeah,
And their
a
little
lot of
pod, they're
black
so
spot.
cute.
I call them the Dalmatian spot morning geckos.
Yeah, they're really pretty. Like a little horde of morning geckos. They're I keep getting more and more that pop up, and I'm like, oh, you're new.
Yeah.
And
They're cool.
I do have some 2 pairs of Uris and one that's growing up.
Agricoli, Velarde, Occidentalis, Symmetric. Okay.
Velarde,
Nice.
yeah. And I have some
Nice.
Gargs.
Okay, well, keep going. Keep going. What
Well,
else we got? Some
I just
Chihuahua.
no, I don't have Chihuahua. I have a couple Gargs. I picked up a couple like hatchling young ones that I'm growing out, and then
With
I have
plans to
some that
breed in the future?
eventually just to have maybe 1 or 2 pairings of Gargs. But the other one I was just kind of a rehome pet only
Okay.
Garg that came and ended up laying 2 eggs. So then I got 2 more out of that one that were completely unexpected.
That's cool.
So yeah, just
It
a
happened.
couple grow out Gargs right now, but nowhere anywhere near having Gargs on the expo table yet.
Coming in the future. It's good. What about the Uris? Are you successful with those? Are you breeding those?
Yeah, I haven't had great success with hatchlings, so I'm just well, they're just not producing as many eggs. I've changed their setup, and now they have a little basking spot too. I find that that's been helpful. But in fine tuning, I haven't figured out the Uris yet.
That's the fun of it. There's
Still
nothing
new
wrong
with the Uris.
Yeah. That's the
Oh, they're little finger huggers.
I think they're awesome.
I'm about to get the whole chat mad right now. I think they're boring. They're beautiful, but I thought they were so boring for me. I got out of it. Sorry, guys. I love Uris though. I just found them to be so boring. But I'm working with day geckos and leaf tails and stuff. That impresses me more than the little finger huggers, you know? I like the Occidentalis out of all of them though.
Okay.
The rarest ones.
I thought of getting like some micro geckos.
Symmetricus is the rarest ones. And micro geckos is what I got into. I used the space from I had 3 different species of Uris, and I got out of all of them to get into micro geckos.
Okay.
They are way more exciting to me.
More fun.
To me, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I haven't really had that desire to like expand out of the cresties, to be honest. Like I have so many exciting projects I'm working with cresties that my heart is content. I don't have that need to go and like I get another.
I mean, you're dipping and dabbing. You got Gargs, you got morning geckos, you got Uris.
Not to say that I don't. Not to say that I don't have other things in this room. I mean, I had gotten an Asian forest scorpion, and then she had a clutch, so now I have a bunch of baby Asian forest scorpions, right?
Oh, a friend of mine gave me Florida bark scorpions and told me, yeah, it's just 2 in there. When I opened a bin, there's a bunch of babies on its back. I said, oh, hell no, take this back. I do not want Oh my God. It looks crazy in person. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's cool though.
Well, someone has a
that's my old
reminder.
That's my bed.
It's funny because I have the same reminder on my phone, but it's silent, so it's been it's been buzzing instead.
Mine too. I silenced it. It's bedtime.
All right,
bedtime mark.
Then we'll wrap this up. Then, is there any announcements you have, Crystal? Is there anything you'd like our listeners to know? You know, upcoming shows where they can find your available animals. What would you like our listeners to know?
Not much new going on, and we don't have many shows up in Canada. So I'm going to be doing some expos in the Toronto area in the spring, and then of course going to be hitting CRB in the fall again. But
you guys have palm trees?
I would just say We don't have Palm Street, and I'm one of the lucky few Canadians that actually gets to watch it.
Why is it?
Apparently, not many Canadians can watch it unless they get like a US VPN. For some reason, I couldn't watch it, and then one day, all of a sudden, it started working. So I can watch Palm Street. My husband has the app, and he can sit right beside me, and he can't watch it. It says not available in your area. And we're on the same VPN, so I don't know how I got the privilege to watch Palm Street, but I get to
Palm
watch,
Street
but
loves you.
I can't buy or anything on there. So
Well, I think that'd be something you'd be really good at, honestly. I think it'd be a great sales outlet for a lot of Canadians to link up with the U.S. market. And why they don't have it there beats me, but interesting. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to
I
cut you
think
off.
it'd be a fun, yeah, a collab thing on Palm Street where
Or
you can
someone
do
takes the
kind of like,
initiative and starts a
you
Canadian
know,
Palm Street.
yeah. We're a smaller group, though. We don't have as many. I mean, look, we have 129 geckos on Morph Market.
Oh, this is true. You could sell plants and crystals and other things.
Yeah,
They sell all types of
other
stuff on there.
things. Untapped market.
All right, so geckodiva.com is your website.
Yeah,
Gecko Diva YouTube channel is where Coffees and Cresties is.
absolutely.
The best way for someone to inquire about animals would be you directly, IG.
Yeah, they can reach me at Gecko Diva Canada Gmail. My email's on the website. Reach me through Instagram as well. I'm most active on Instagram. That's where I post most of my things. If there's things I post on Facebook, it's just because it was on Instagram and it just tagged in. But yeah, that's the easiest place to reach me. And I'll be posting updates from the projects
Awesome.
pretty regularly throughout the year. I'll post updates about the pixel stuff and
Cool.
and
the green
yeah,
stuff,
I
the
share
full
everything
project
there.
and everything. So if you guys are interested, you like what you heard, you like some of the stuff you saw, check Crystal out, man. Super cool person to follow and support regardless. Spread the love. You know, head on by to her Instagram page. If you didn't have a chance to see some of the animals we were showing and you were in your car or whatever, check them out. Some super cool animals. Beautiful collection of animals too, by the way.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming. It's obviously a good conversation at 2 hours and 10 minutes. They don't.
By fast.
We don't. Well, hey, listen. Sometimes we talk to people, and I mean, we're at 40 minutes, and we're both fighting to get questions out of people. Answers. It's rough. And then we have these where the conversations just flow. And if it was 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we'd probably go for another 3 hours. But it's almost 12 at night. Well, 11. Which an old.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate the opportunity to come and chat with you both.
Of course, it's been a long time coming. I've wanted to have you on for a while now, and we definitely, we appreciate you. We definitely appreciate you.
Anthony, now we have to have you on Coffee and Cresties.
Sure. Whenever you start it up again, let me know. We'll figure it out, But again, I appreciate you. Appreciate everything you're doing for the hobby, the example you're setting for all of the young girls out there, for all the children out there, but in particularly, again, it's great for our little girls, the world's little girls, to see that they can be and do anything they choose to be in this world. And you're a great role model, and I want to thank you personally for that alone.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing great things. Your passion glows.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me on.
Hang out for a second. Once I hit end, I just want to make sure everything uploads. And yeah, well, I'll see you both backstage in 1 second. I'm going to stop this now if I can figure out how to. It's just here. All right, stop.